Hey, Merry Christmas all. I'm just gonna map a few planets. Can't sleep. Got stuff to do tomorrow, so not gonna be too long. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Wanna try with it?
Vessel is
landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Okay, a couple of these aren't mapped. Well, a couple of them are, but some of them have been missed. So I'm gonna go grab them while I can. I got a whole system yesterday. Quite cool. Break out of this gravitational pull a bit before we get some speed. Must have gained some speed quickly there. Literally went right past it. There's some timing. Yeah, this is a tiny little thing. Too close. Oh. Yeah, go past it. Slow down. Okay, got some new keybinds. Hopefully I can do this from my gamepad. Let's give this a whirl. Yes, yes I can. Okay, let's probe this. I had a good tactic for this, is to go directly in the center and then make a triangle just above the horizon of each corner.
Surface scan complete.
Perfect. Okay. There we go. First planet mapped. We have to travel at least 20 light years to sell this data and actually claim it. That's no big deal. late. Sorry, I got distracted. Should be close enough. Stop. Two probes. Efficiency bonus. Try that. Okay, and we should be able to see behind it there. Should hit in the middle. Ish. Oh no, it's quite off. Ah, 1% away, serious. That seemed to hit the same place even though it was the other side. That's really interesting.
Surface scan complete.
Okay, so these ones are mapped. I just need to map these two. I should have hired a crew. Ships about. Hopefully they're not player ones. So I want this map. Now we continue my adventure into the beyond. To the void. Where are we anyway? Take a look. So we've just come out of the bubble. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get to the interdiction. Interdiction. Zach Stewart, I have you now. You might very well have me now. Wasn't paying attention. Come on. Seems like a player rather than a bot. Don't even know how to use this composition scanner yet. Seven probes. It's bigger than it looks. Better get a bit close. They all hit around the same place if I do it from the distance. It's more of the distance and the rotation. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to get bonus, but we'll just get there. Well, I didn't mean to drop out a super cruise there, but whatever works.
Cannot comply. Cannot comply.
Hard points.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage.
Slow it down, slow it down. Right. It needs one more. Right about there. Really? Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the button I've got on controller for that because it keeps pressing the other button instead. Bit of a pain. What's left? There we go. Just both hit the middle. Barely got me anything. Okay. I think if you took the starting 3
Surface scan complete.
and just did them varying heights. Okay, one more. Slow. Damn it! Not gonna do it.
Hull integrity compromised.
Takes. Quite pretty view. Might go hide out on this planet afterwards if we can make myself a cup of hot chocolate, I think. I need it. Just try to chill out before bed anyway. Just waiting on the cool down.
Frame shift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Alright, at least we've got a pretty perfect position for this now anyway. Be much more accurate. I'm going to put this one here. This one right on the very edge. And that one around here. That's much more effective. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix these controls.
Surface scan complete.
Hey, efficiency bonus. Alright. Well, I kinda wanna go make a drink, but I'm gonna chill out on this planet. I'm gonna have a check this out. Apparently,
Orbital flight engaged.
let's see if I can try doing this. Surface scanner, FSD, discovery scanner, no. Huh. Apparently the composition scan doesn't appear right now. Service signal geological. Let's go check that out. Now flight mode. Interested in what these geological sites are. So let's check it out. It's really pretty here. I think that's actually on the other side of the planet. That dotted line means it's behind something. Not sure we're anywhere near any other. Let's see if we can actually check navigation. Wow, so it's got all the geological sites on the planet now, surface scan. This is interesting. I think that's on the other side of the planet, unfortunately. Close now. Maybe it's because it's an undiscovered. I'm sure my composition scanner set. Yeah, right in the end there. H1. Wonder if I set it to that one. I could use them both. Yeah, I can't use it while in this mode. you stay for a while. So I'm going to leave you with this nice little view. Be back in a sec.
nanomed trials successful. Clinical trials for new nanomedicines developed by Vitadyne Labs have delivered outstanding results. Observers from the Interstellar Health Organization summarized. Our teams carefully monitored the use of Vitadyne nanomeds on patients for whom conventional treatments were unsuitable. In all cases, the nanomedicines eliminated malignant cells, boosted immune systems and repaired damaged tissue. There is no doubt that this product represents a breakthrough in nanomedicine, with enormous healthcare potential.
Cannot comply.
Professor Katrian Rook, owner of Vitadyne Labs, told the media.
Frameshift drive charging.
It's highly gratifying to have our work validated in this way. I'm grateful to the IHO for its
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
diligence, and I look forward to introducing our nanomedicines to the galaxy. Week in review. Here are this week's major stories. Disgraced politician Juanita Bishop has called for a forthcoming book about the Far God sect to be banned. In a statement, Bishop described the book's authors as alien sympathizers, and accused them of creating pro-Thargoid propaganda. Gethin Okonkwo, one of the book's writers, suggested that Bishop's desire to halt publication was an attempt to prevent a criminal investigation into her own activities. A range of new asteroid mining equipment is expected to trigger an increase in the availability of ores and minerals. A spokesperson for the Industrial Mining Guild said the new tools would prompt a surge in private mining activity. In other news, Princess Aisling Duval has publicly rejected the isolationist group Nova Imperium and its figurehead, Hadrian Duval. Senator Zemina Torval publicly voiced agreement with Princess Duval, but Senator Paul Vespasian said that many senators were willing to recognize Hadrian Duval as emperor-in-waiting. In other news, clinical trials for nanomedicines developed by Vitadyne Labs have delivered outstanding results. Observers from the Interstellar Health Organization said that the nanomedicines eliminated malignant cells, boosted immune systems and repaired damaged tissue, and said that the product represented a genuine breakthrough. Imperial Senator Simone Leatrix has announced plans for a week of revelry at her palatial residence on Capitol, in the Achenar system. In a statement, the senator said she intended to celebrate the end of the year with a sumptuous party at her mountaintop retreat, which would be specially renovated for the occasion. In support of the event, the Semius Imperial Society has placed an open order for various commodities. Finally, the conflict between two opposing factions in the Wally Bay system has ended. The fleets of both Wally Bay Technical and the Wally Bay Constitution Party were significantly reduced in a prolonged series of battles. The leaders of both organizations issued a joint statement, confirming that for humanitarian
Frameshift drive charging.
reasons they would bring hostilities to an end. And those are the main stories this week. Aisling Duval rejects Nova Imperium. Princess Aisling Duval has publicly rejected
4, 3, 2, 1.
the isolationist group Nova Imperium and its figurehead, Hadrian Duval. These extremists cause only division. Hadrian may well be the grandson of Hengist Duval, but that hardly makes him suited to the Arisa has been silent for too long. She must act quickly to resolve this volatile situation.
Scoping.
Senator Zemina Torval responded. Much to my surprise, I found myself in agreement
Scope disengaged.
with Princess Duval. The notion of an independent pilot becoming ruler of the Empire is preposterous. I am confident that the Emperor will respond accordingly. Despite this united front, Senator Paul Vespasian stated, many senators are willing to recognize Hadrian Duval as emperor-in-waiting. Nova Imperium is now a legitimate political movement with several million supporters. The only way the Empire will survive is by accepting the Imperator's proposals. Supplies needed for Imperial festivities. Imperial Senator Simone Leatrix has announced plans for a week of revelry at her palatial residence on Capitol, in the Achenar system. The senator told the media, "We Imperials value the finer things, even during times of political upset. So I intend to celebrate the end of the year with a sumptuous party at my mountaintop retreat, which will be specially renovated for the occasion. To feed the hundreds of high-profile guests and decorate the senator's residence, Senator Leatrix has asked the Semius Imperial Society to organize deliveries of food and newly refined jewels to Mackenzie Relay and the Semius system. The Initiatives begin on the 20th of December 3304 and will run for 1 week. If either initiative meets its targets earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Battle ceases in Wally Bay system. The conflict between two opposing factions in the Wally Bay system has ended. The fleets of both the Wally Bay Technical and the traditional Wally Bay Constitution Party were significantly reduced in a prolonged series of battles. The leaders of both organizations issued a joint statement. We recognize that our military leaders overreacted to accusations made by both parties. For humanitarian reasons, we have agreed to bring hostilities to an end. But we will honor the commitment made by independent pilots on both sides, who are now authorized to collect their rewards from the Wally Bay system. New mining tools released. A range of new asteroid mining equipment is expected to trigger an increase in the availability of ores and minerals. A spokesperson for the Industrial Mining Guild discussed the new tools at an industry symposium. Using mining lasers to remove surface deposits from asteroids can be difficult. The new abrasion blaster fires projectiles that break them free more easily. For deeper deposits, subsurface displacement missiles can penetrate the rock and then be detonated remotely, releasing larger chunks of material. Finally, there is now a way to access valuable resources deep within certain rare bodies. Seismic charges, when carefully positioned, can crack an asteroid open and free the minerals at its core. Combined with upgrades to existing tools, such as scanners and prospector limpets, we are confident that these new tools will result in a surge in private
Surface scan complete.
mining activity. Call to ban Far God book. Disgraced politician Juanita Bishop has called for a forthcoming book about the Far God sect to be banned. The authors, Aliana Vandoconquo, are known alien sympathizers. One was arrested as a suspected traitor and the other has admitted to being a Far God cultist. What they're writing is nothing more than pro-Thargoid propaganda. It is an insult to all the brave souls who died trying to keep us safe. The authorities need to prevent this book from contaminating innocent people with its repulsive ideas. Journalist Gethin Okonkwo, who spent months undercover in the Far God sect, responded. The book includes first-hand accounts of worshippers being attacked by Bishop's followers. Her desperation to halt its publication is nothing more than an attempt to prevent a criminal investigation into her activities. Positive response to Vitadyne Nanomeds. The Interstellar Health Organization, IHO, has delivered a preliminary report on the nanomedicines recently developed by Vitadyne Labs. The summary stated, nanomedicine is a carefully regulated branch of medical science, with little scope for public application, but Vitadyne's nanomeds are more sophisticated and reliable than any existing product. Furthermore, Vitadyne's data regarding healing, disease treatment and extension of longevity has been verified. Having confirmed the product's effectiveness, IHO teams are now conducting independent tests with patients. Media outlet Vox Galactica published this viewpoint from healthcare analyst Dr. Hilary Gray. The pharmaceutical industry is astonished that a small company like Vitadyne could produce something so advanced. Professor Catrian Rook's credentials are impeccable, of course, but this is a work of genius. These nanomeds could be the most exciting thing in medicine for decades. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. A new networked system named the Codex has been released to the galactic community. The Codex is a joint initiative from the Pilots Federation and Universal Cartographics, which announced that the system had been automatically uploaded to all vessels registered with the Pilots Federation. 2 new ships marketed towards independent pilots have been released. The Mamba, from Zorgon Peterson, is reputedly one of the fastest ships in production, while the Crate Phantom, manufactured by Falcon de Lacy, has been envisaged as a multi-role vessel. Hadrian Augustus Deval, the long-lost grandson of Emperor Hengist Deval, has broadcast a message to the Empire in which he emphasized his humble background and stressed that he had lived an ordinary life. He concluded with the words, "I've seen how diminished the Empire has become, and I know that new leadership is sorely needed." Meanwhile, the Interstellar Health Organization has delivered a preliminary report on the nanomedicines recently developed by Vitadyne Labs. The report states that Vitadyne's nanomeds are more sophisticated and reliable than any existing product, and that Vitadyne's data regarding healing, disease treatment and extension of longevity has been verified. In other news, Conflict has erupted between two factions in the Wally Bay system. Hostilities were triggered after the Wally Bay Technical claimed to have discovered stolen food shipments aboard their rivals' transport vessels. This was denied in an official response by traditional Wally Bay Constitution Party. Military leaders from both factions have issued calls to independent combat pilots, offering rewards for their support. Finally, an initiative to deliver rare commodities to an esoteric cult in the Zlotta system has concluded. Barnabas Cole, leader of the Children of Tothos, submitted a handwritten message
Surface scan complete.
to the media that read, "By helping us, you free yourselves. You will feel the light of our testament fill you, just as it fills the heavens." And those are the main stories this week. Children of Tothos initiative concludes. An initiative to deliver rare commodities to an esoteric cult in the Zlotta system has concluded. Independent traders provided Agonai Prush, Motrono Experience Jelly, and Onion Head for a ceremony to be performed by the Children of Tothos. Other pilots protected the rare goods from being taken by pirates. Barnabas Cole, leader of the Children of Tothos, gave another handwritten message to the media. "By helping us, you free yourselves. You will feel the light of our testament fill you, just as it fills the heavens." The initiative was organized by Zlotta Federal Holdings, which allegedly counts some high-ranking officials as cult members. Contributing pilots can now collect their rewards from the slain Valhard settlement in the Zlotta system. Battle commences in Wally Bay system. Conflict has erupted between two opposing factions in the Wally Bay system. Hostilities were triggered after Wally Bay Technical claimed to have discovered stolen food shipments aboard their rivals' transport vessels. The faction spokesperson said, "Robbing innocent people of vital supplies is nothing less than an act of war, and we are treating it as such." This was denied in an official response by the traditional Wally Bay Constitution Party. This outrageous accusation is intended to drive off our trade partners and damage our economy. We won't tolerate such slander. Military leaders from both Wally Bay Technical and the traditional Wally Bay Constitution Party have issued calls to independent combat pilots, offering rewards for their support. The two factions have set out week-long operations that will begin on the 13th of December 3304. Hadrian Deval addresses the Empire. Hadrian Augustus Deval, the long-lost grandson of Emperor Hengist Deval, has broadcast a message to the Empire. "I am no wealthy senator from an entitled family, but someone who has lived an ordinary life. Someone who understands the hardships faced by many imperial citizens. As Hadrian Jansen, I was a poor child with no family other than my father. Together we scraped a living as independent traders. He never spoke of his past, not even when he died 2 years ago. That was when I inherited his ship and became a commander myself. When Imperator Mordanticus informed me of my heritage, I knew I had to accept my identity as a Deval. I've seen how diminished the Empire has become, and I know that new leadership is sorely needed. I ask you to honor the legacy of the Deval bloodline. With Nova Imperium, let's save the Empire we love." Mamba and Crate Phantom were released. Two new ships marketed towards independent pilots, the Mamba and the Crate Phantom, have just hit the market. Zorgon Peterson issued the following press release for its new vessel. "If it's speed and firepower you want, the Mamba is for you. Based on a racing prototype, it's the fastest commercially available starship, and it sports enough hard points for a range of devastating weaponry. Whether you're leaving competitors in the dust, or running rings around those pesky Argoids, think Mamba." Fall Condolasi also released a statement for its latest design. The Crate Phantom offers true multi-role capability, allowing it to be customized for combat, mining, or trading. And for explorers, its impressive jump range means you really can reach out to the stars. This is a ship that can handle it all. Introducing the Codex. A new network database system named the Codex has been released to the galactic community. The Codex is a joint initiative from the Pilots Federation and Universal Cartographics, which issued the following joint statement. "We are pleased to announce that the Codex has been automatically uploaded."
Okay, we'll check the Codex out in a moment. I haven't actually looked yet. See, tiny little burst speed. It's just so hard to actually get. Slow down. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Still get the efficiency bonus if those to cover it though. Go on quick. Yeah.
Surface scan complete. Surface scan complete.
So I like the sound of the crate, the new crate ship. Apparently it's a good explorer ship. That's kind of what I'm doing, so I might have to check that out. See if it's any good. See what the web says. And I want to check out that codex. That's cool. Let's learn about the Thargoids. This is cool. I like that they've added this. So now if I go into...
The Thargoids. Human Thargoid contact. The Thargoids are a non-human race with a history of hostility towards humanity. The first recorded encounter with a Thargoid ship took place in 2849, although earlier undocumented encounters are believed to have taken place. In the years that followed, contact with lone Thargoid vessels was intermittently reported. Humanity clashed with the Thargoids in the 32nd century, but details of the conflict remained scarce for many years, and it proved difficult to differentiate authentic accounts of Thargoid encounters from the sensationalist media stories of the time. The discovery of abandoned intergalactic naval reserve arm bases in 3303 did much to dispel the fog, however. The INRA, a joint federal imperial initiative established in 3193, was responsible for researching the Thargoids and developing technologies to counter their aggression. But the organization's lack of accountability meant that the details of its research did not come to light until years after its dissolution. Almost all of the reliable data concerning the Thargoids has been sourced from INRA facilities. This data, originally deemed highly confidential, was declassified in 3304, following a resolution from the federal government and an imperial decree. Some controversy over the backing and funding of the INRA remains, however. The Thargoids Society. The INRA discovered that Thargoid society is organized into hives, with most Thargoids falling into three categories: queens, princesses, and drones. Queens function as reproducers, while drones serve to maintain a favorable environment for the rest of the hive. Thargoid hives can be vast, although it may be that some of the larger observed groups are in fact multiple, overlapping hives. Ultimately, little is known for sure. The average Thargoid queen is at least as intelligent as a human being, while the typical drone possesses a more rudimentary level of intelligence. Existing evidence suggests that queens have extremely long lifespans, living for hundreds or even thousands of years. The variable size of queens' neurocraniums suggests this might be an indicator of age. Little is known about the precise nature of Thargoid reproduction, but it is likely that queens can reproduce both sexually, with other queens, and asexually. It is thought that the latter method produces drones, while the former produces a new queen.
Surface scan complete.
Analysis of Thargoid specimens led some INRA researchers to believe that a new queen, or princess, becomes a full queen only once it has produced drones of its own. Significantly, queens are believed to be single-sex. The Thargoids' ability to reproduce asexually means that their populations can expand incredibly quickly, but it is thought that they deliberately restrict the size of the populace so as to not to deplete all available resources. There is evidence to suggest that this is sometimes achieved by culling older drones. INRA testing indicated the queens perceive drones as entirely expendable, presumably due to the ease with which they can be replaced. Indeed, a Thargoid queen appears to give no more thought to the loss of a drone than a human would an eyelash. The Thargoids. Communication. The belief that Thargoids were capable of some form of extrasensory communication was often cited in the early years of human-Thargoid interaction, but prior to the discovery of INRA records, it was not fully understood. Professor Yuri Anslow of the INRA theorized that a Thargoid queen can communicate with the drones in its hive via a spread-spectrum electronic signal, and can use this signal to control the drones, and even to share their sensory input. Studies of battlefield footage certainly suggest some kind of near-instantaneous communication among Thargoids, and the presence of low-level radio noise in areas occupied by Thargoids indicates that they do indeed communicate via short-range electronic signals. Professor Anslow went on to claim that a queen could effectively see and hear through its drones, but her contemporaries were skeptical, dismissing the assertion as baseless. Professor Ishmael Palin, one of the galaxy's foremost experts on the Thargoids, has even gone so far as to denounce Anslow as a glory hound. Thargoids have been known to make staccato clicking noises with their mouthparts when in the presence of humans, punctuated with occasional hisses and buzzes. They've also been observed directing such noises at one another, albeit much less frequently. Professor Albert Tesreau, a founding member of the Joint Superpower Initiative, AEGIS, and a specialist in interspecies communication, has studied INRA audio logs and suggested that the sounds probably represent some kind of language due to the repetition of certain sound combinations. It is unclear why the Thargoids would sometimes choose to communicate with each other vocally, given their capacity for extrasensory communication. Professor Anslow suggested that the sounds could be designed to intimidate enemies or opponents, noting that Thargoids often produce them prior to combat. Thargoid ships have been observed emitting a complex array of sounds, and in some cases subtly changing color. The exact meaning of these behaviors has not been determined, but they appear to correspond to different emotional states. What is not known is if these sounds are produced by the pilot and amplified by the ship, or emitted by the ship itself. If the sounds originate with the pilot, it would suggest some kind of physiological connection between pilot and vessel.
System scan complete.
Given the sophistication of Thargoid bioengineering, however, it is possible that the sounds come from the ship itself, and that Thargoid ships are able to feel and communicate to a limited degree. The hulls of Thargoid ships are typically emblazoned with one of several symbols, the meaning of which is unknown. Some have theorized that they could denote membership of a particular familial group, or possibly be an indicator of rank. The Thargoids. Physiology. Human understanding of Thargoid physiology is far from complete, but recovered INRA data has offered some insights into their nature. INRA records describe the average Thargoid as physically larger than a human being, and generally insectoid in appearance. Thargoid biology is carbon-based, using an RNA-like encoding for biological information, but Thargoid chemistry is based on ammonia rather than water. Consequently, while Thargoids can comfortably tolerate environments as cold as -80 degrees Celsius, they cannot withstand environments warmer than 45 degrees Celsius for long. According to notes compiled by Dr. Peregrine Hennig, an INRA researcher, Thargoids can survive for a significant time in the vacuum of space without apparent discomfort, and can tolerate radiation and extreme cold for far longer than a human. The Thargoids. Vulnerabilities. In 3250, the INRA developed a biological weapon known as the mycoid virus for use against the Thargoids. The virus was the result of an accidental discovery made by an INRA researcher, who noted that a particular strain of fungus was found to thrive on the hulls of Thargoid vessels and appeared to be digesting the material of
Surface scan complete.
which the ship was made. The INRA refined the fungal strain and began experimenting on living Thargoids in their spacecraft. The mycoid proved to have deleterious effects on both, leading to the swift elimination of the Thargoids active in human-occupied space at the time. It is widely assumed that since the last human-Thargoid conflict, the Thargoids have developed an immunity to the mycoid virus. The Thargoids, starships. In terms of structure and function, Thargoid vessels are radically different from anything produced by humanity and are able to navigate hyperspace in ways that are not fully understood. They are also at least partly organic, meaning that they can self-repair or heal over time. Ship function in general, and this restorative ability in particular, have been shown to be dependent upon the so-called Thargoid heart, a biomechanical organ found in varying quantities in different Thargoid ships. These hearts often survive the destruction of the ship, enabling them to be salvaged, although they can also be targeted and damaged with appropriate weaponry. They are highly corrosive, however, and require special containers for safe transport. Thargoid vessels that have sustained combat damage exhibit scar-like patterns. Given that Thargoid technology is sophisticated enough for such damage to be repaired, it follows that Thargoids might deliberately choose to preserve these scars. INRA logs document an encounter with a Thargoid mothership many times larger than other Thargoid craft, against which the mycoid virus was successfully deployed, although no such vessels have been reported in recent times. The Thargoids. Structures. Dozens of planets in human-occupied space are peppered with Thargoid
Surface scan complete.
particles, biological resource extractors that convert minerals into meta-alloys, a key component in the creation of Thargoid vehicles and technology. Theories that these barnacles have been genetically engineered by the Thargoids have yet to be verified. Larger structures, referred to as Thargoid surface sites, have also been discovered. These sites typically consist of a spiral-shaped structure, nestling within a shallow crater, beneath which lies a series of tunnels. At the heart of this subsurface network is a device that, once activated, emits a
Frameshift drive charging.
holographic star map. The sites are patrolled by
Ready to engage.
semi-sentient biomechanical entities called scavengers.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
The Thargoids, war with the Guardians. Archaeological records have revealed that the extinct, non-human civilization known as the Guardians experienced conflict with the Thargoids many thousands of years ago.
Frameshift drive charging.
Logs recovered from Guardian sites indicate that the Thargoids were the aggressor in this conflict, having seeded Guardian space with biomechanical constructs used for resource extraction long before the emergence of the
4, 3, 2, 1.
In civilization, the Thargoids apparently believed they were entitled to uncontested dominion of the territory. The Guardians attempted to communicate with the Thargoids and reach a compromise, without success. Over the course of the conflict, the Guardians developed new technologies to give them an advantage against the Thargoids. These technologies were apparently successful, forcing the Thargoids to abandon their offensive. The Thargoids. Agenda. Thargoids do not attack indiscriminately, and their choice of targets shows them to be highly intelligent. They have also conducted targeted strikes on Aegis facilities and attacked pilots carrying Thargoid items in their cargo holds, indicating that they know they are being studied and want to halt the process. But despite their evident intelligence, they appear to be completely uninterested in meaningful communication. The engineer Ramtar, who has extensively researched the Guardians and their war with the Thargoids, holds the view that Thargoid aggression is a product of territorialism. They seed an area with barnacles, thus laying claim to it, and return, sometimes many centuries later, to harvest the extracted resources. Any life form advanced enough to compete with them for the territory is treated as an enemy and summarily attacked. Professor Palin concurs with this view adding that the Thargoids are apparently so determined to eliminate any threats to their long-term survival, they will not tolerate any advanced species in close proximity.
Nanomed trials successful. Clinical trials for new nanomedicines developed by Vitadyne Labs have delivered outstanding results. Observers from the Interstellar Health Organization.
System scan complete. System scan complete. System scan complete.
Guest jar? Dwarf? I don't know. Found it. Is that a star? There's a star. This is just a... Realize. Pointless endeavor, then. Where's the scories? It's about a bubble. Not really where I want to go. That's more like it.
Frameshift drive charging. FSS mode. Analyze results. Not bound. This is DSS. What's SS? FFS. Frameshift drive charging.
these are mapped. One of them are mapped. Someone is literally working
Fuel
on
scooping
mapping.
complete.
Oh, a couple of these are mapped, but not every single one. Let's definitely get our name in this sector. Wow, that's literally being mapped right now. That wasn't mapped before. Right, I'm definitely mapping this thing first. That one's mine. Grab this one. I think I sell my data, so I'm the first to map those ones that I have been doing, so we don't lose any progress. And I might just leave it here for today, guys.
Surface scan complete.
22 probes. Holy. Guess they're just harder to map these things with the rings getting in the way. They're trying it on the other side of the ring, I think. Let's see.
Surface scan complete.
Hey. Looks like we need to go to the Ashton installation. Which is this planet. Luckily it's in the system that we're in right now. Be pretty close by, there it is. To the rings, it should be fine.
Integrity compromised. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. detected.
Access granted. Set down on landing pad 08. Automated docking approved. You may now handle control.
Landing gear deployed.
Welcome to the port, Commander.
Hull repaired.
Looks like people have already beat me to some of these scans that I haven't turned in yet.
Incoming message.
Aha, I got two sets though. Oh, wait, I have crew? Do I have crew? Don't have any crew yet? What's that talking about? Do want a crew member though. I'll wait on that one though. But yeah, I was going to end it here anyway. So, Merry Christmas all, and catch you in the new year. Peace out.